Hello everybody, I am your host, LinkedDamin, and welcome to my video. This video will be about making a Tekkit Classic version 3.1.2 server. This will be an updated version from my old one that's over a year old from long time ago on my old YouTube channel, which I was really shocked that it had over 10,000 views and people are still commenting. So I wanted to help with the problems and issues, as well as just go through it all over again. That way even new people can just go, oh, okay, that's how I do it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a folder on my desktop. You can make the folder anywhere you want. I'm just going to make it on my desktop. I am going to name it Tekkit Classic version 3.1.2 server. Boom. Easy enough. You can name it anything you want. Don't care. And I am actually on Windows 8. I don't know how to do it on a Mac or a Linux, so I apologize for that disability I have, the ignorance. So after I make the folder and I stop rambling, I'm going to go to my browser, which is Google Chrome. You can use any browser you want. I recommend Google Chrome because it's the most updated. I'm going to go to Tekkit. I can spell it right. If I can spell it right, tekkitpack.net, and it is going to bring up the website. Now this may look a little bit different, or a lot different, depending on when you look at this video. This one, this just got updated Christmas, which was not even a week ago, so happy holidays to anybody. And so to get the actual server files, you want to go to Discover, Official Mod Packs. Now that may be in a different area by the time you watch this video, so I do apologize. You want to go to Tekkit Classic, and you want to go to Server Download. As you can see here, it's going to download. I've actually already tested to make sure the download works. That's why there's a 1 here. Probably for you, there won't be a 1. Or you may actually already have this downloaded. If you do, applause. So as you can see, it is finally downloaded. It is a zip file, which means you can use Windows, you can use 7-zip, you can use WinRAR to open it, or any other zip file opening program. I'm going to open it with 7-zip, which came default with my computer. As you can see here, I got scary looking things, don't you think? I'd be afraid of that if I have no idea what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is close on my browser, and I'm going to open my folder that I made. Drag this out here, make this a little smaller. And I'm actually going to extract these to this folder. There's a couple ways you can do this. You can do it my way, which I do extract, go to the folder, and then press OK. It's going to do it. You're going to see that it pops up here. There you go. Or you can just take all these files, and drag them in. I'm going to close out the zip file and go to my folder here and explain some things to you guys. Now, first thing you want to do is make sure you have Java installed. So I'll go to java.com. You want to make sure you have Java installed. So if you don't have Java, you're going to run into lots of issues. You're not going to be able to run the Tekkit launcher. You're not going to be able to run the Tekkit Classic version 3.1.2 server. You're going to come in lots of problems. You probably won't even be able to run regular Minecraft without Java. So what I want to do is go to java.com. There's always a free Java download button here. Or you can go up here that says download. Doesn't matter. Now it'll pop up the most latest version, and for your operating system, which mine is Windows 8. As you can see, it's say, hey, there's something you need to do on Windows 8. Gotta make sure you're there. So I already have Java already on my system, so I don't need to download it. If you're not sure, go to download it anyway, just in case. And not only that, if you do have it, it might be an older version, which could run into trouble. So just go agree and start free download. I'm not going to because I know I have the most latest version and I know I have Java installed on my computer. I'm going to close out of that. So now that's all done. We already got through a lot of problems. Now I'm going to explain the files before I do anything with them a little bit. The Tekkit jar file, Tekkit.jar file, or just you'll see Tekkit and then execute the jar file on this Windows 8, probably on Windows 7 as well. That is actually the server plus the things needed to run the Tekkit Classic version 3.1.2 mods on it. So you don't touch this. You don't ever open it. You don't need to. There's nothing you need to do. mod_ee.props is a properties file for equivalent exchange 2. You can open that and you can edit any properties that you want for equivalent exchange 2. Launch.sh. Now I'm not exactly sure what that is. I'm pretty sure it's pretty much just a text file type thing that has the code in it for the launch. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that the actual launch.bat, which is what you open when you start the server, actually has the line in it for you, but I don't know why that's there. Actually, I apologize for that. I have a little bit of ignorance on that part. So let's actually go to what I'm talking about, launch.bat. Now this is what you always open to start your server. Not this, this. This helps with allocating RAM, which in other words, it makes your server not lag. And it basically gives you a better look, I believe. That's my opinion. It gives you a better look and you can tell what you're doing easier. Now, this may look a little bit different. I know in my old video, people were having problems opening this, which actually intrigued me. Because typically you can open bat files. Now, if you can't, I'm going to show you. Now, I can, as you see, open. So I'm going to try to find open with. I cannot open with. Interesting, that's weird. Very interesting. That's very interesting. You may have to go to properties. No, it's not going to allow me to. Interesting. Well, if you can't, you want to open with, go and find command prompt or CMD, which would typically be in your Windows C files. So I'm actually going to launch this. I'm going to go to my other thing here, bring this up, and it's like, okay, I'm going to run this code. Java, which is what you needed to download, XMX3G, XMS2G, jar, Tekkit.jar, no GUI. I'll explain that. Java is saying, hey, you're gonna run this with Java. You're gonna allow maximum of 3 gigabytes of RAM to the server. You're already gonna put 2 gigabytes of RAM on the server, and it's a jar file. Java files is a jar, and this is the Tekkit.jar, which is right here. This is what you're gonna run that with. There's no GUI, there's actually not a space there. It's supposed to be like that, but it's no GUI. It doesn't show another thing here, which you don't want. Now, I actually got an error, which actually surprised me that I didn't get an error on my old video. It says, error occurred during initialization of a virtual machine, that's what VM stands for, could not reserve enough space for blah 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 gigabytes object heap. And then it's saying, oh, well, after you do that, this is actually the folder destination, it's like pause. It wants to make sure that you can actually read this. And it says press any key to continue. If I'm to press any key, it goes away. And you get nowhere, sadly. So what that pretty much saying is that you can't run 3 gigabytes and 2 gigabytes of RAM on this server, which I actually not sure why, because I have 8 gigabytes and I have 5 available, which is actually you're running this with actually 3 for some reason my computer's weird and add this up, so 5, which I have enough. But you know what? Well, actually, no, it's saying 3 gigabytes here. Actually, that's how much the number is. So I'm not sure why it's not allowing me to. Very interesting. I'll try it again. Probably won't work. Nope. As you can see there. So I'm gonna close that out. Now, how do you fix this? Well, I'll show you. In the launch, after you can open it with command prompt, you should be able to right click it and press edit. This will give you the code for the bat file. Don't worry, you won't need to know any code. I can show you it easily. It's basically saying, hey, you can't use these numbers are too big. So I'm going to change this down by 1 number each. And I'm going to save it, and press Control S, or go to File, Save. I'm going to exit, I'm going to launch it again. It's saying, hey, you still can't do it. You're a moron. No, it's not saying that, ignore that. But it's saying, hey, you can't do that. Still don't know why, but hey, it's being weird. So I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I had to lower it more. And I'm only going to raise the first number by 1. So that means I'm running it with 1 gigabyte only, which concerns me. I'm not sure why I have to. I'll launch this. As you can see now that I brought it up, it's saying, hey. Yeah, or it's like, hey, I'm running. Yay. So... Excuse me, sorry about that. I also had something stuck in my throat. It's bringing up a lot of stuff. What is all of this stuff? Well, I could go through it and tell you every single one. Basically, though, you don't need to worry about it, period. The only thing you need to worry about is when it's preparing start region, which you really don't even need to worry about. It's saying, hey, I'm preparing the world. I am making the world for you guys. I'm preparing level 0, which is the overworld, level 1, which is the nether, and level 2, which is the end. So it did all that. It's saying, hey, I'm done. And then Railcraft's like, oh, I've loaded 0 saved anchors. I need to create a Railcraft save file. So after that, it is done. Thankfully, we're finally there. We finally can play. Kind of. We are not done yet, sadly enough. What this is saying, hey, you can play on this server only on your computer and anybody that is on your router or on your internet. So basically anybody that's in your house, home, apartment. You probably don't want that. You probably want other people from the world, all these lovely people, to play. Which I know I do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type SAVE-ALL. What that says is save all. I'm pretty sure we all can read English. If you couldn't, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. Or you probably understand English, don't know how to read it. Which I am glad I'm saying what I'm typing. Save all saves, you can probably guess, saves everything. It saves all of the stuff. So I'm press enter after I type it, and it's like forcing save complete. And I'm going to type stop. I'm going to press enter, and it stops the server. Now I saw a comment that says, hey, don't do that. I'm asking why. Because otherwise you're going to run into tons of problems, and you're never going to get the server work if you don't stop the server. Period. It's going to be horrible. So please do stop the server by STOP, and then pressing enter. So it's saying, okay, I'm stopping the server, I'm saving again, I'm doing it twice just to make sure, and then I'm pausing so I can make you read this, and you can press any key to continue, and it will close. But now we have a ton, if you didn't notice, we have a ton of different stuff. Oh boy, what is all this? What's going on? Are you installing a virus on my computer? No, we are not. I can promise you that. Over thousands of people have downloaded this. It is not a virus. And I wouldn't do that to you guys. You guys are lovely. I can never hurt you. So I'm going to go through everything that I didn't go through. Whitelist. It's a text file. What is a whitelist? If you don't know, a whitelist is basically, if you go into it, it's completely blank. Well, that's useless. Pretty much, really, until you use it. If you put your Minecraft in-game name, or IGN in, which mine is Dark Angel 426, that will allow me, if I enable a whitelist, only I can go in. Now you might say, well, I don't want that. Or you might say, I do want that, but I want to add people. All you do is, you can see on the first line, is that I type my name, which you want to type your name, otherwise you won't be able to get in. Press enter, and you can type any other name, which I'm going to add my family member, and boom, it's there. Then to add anybody else, you type the next line, and the next line, and the next line. Now I'm going to save this, Control S, or File, Save. I'm going to close it. And there's that Tekkit jar we talked about. And here, it's server properties. It's probably not going to look the same for you. It's probably going to look like server.properties and just say it's a properties file. And it's going to ask you to open with. Well, I'm going to go to open with. As you can see, it's gonna look a little different. You'll probably have a list if you're on Windows 7. On Windows 8, this will probably look different. Look like this if you're on Windows 8 or 8.1. Now, what I'm using WordPad, which came with my computer, which came with a lot of computers. Is basically Notepad. If you know what Notepad is, it's a text editor, a very, very, very simple text editor. And basically, it's Microsoft Word and Notepad combined. It's not as good as Word, but it's not as bad as Notepad. So I'm using that. You can choose anything you want. As you see, I have a lot of things, but really, you can't open this up in Photoshop or BitTorrent or Internet Explorer or Movie Maker. You want to open it in text editor, so like Notepad or WordPad. I don't think I have any more than that. Oh, I have Word. I have Microsoft Word, or I can browse my PC to find another one. I'm not going to. I'm going to keep using Notepad, and now it's going to open here behind the folder for some reason. That's okay. I can just move this around. Now there's a big long list of crap. Well, not crap, but stuff that you need. And it's going to be like, oh God, what do I do with this? Oh no, oh God. Well, thankfully, I'm here to tell you. MOTD stands for Message of the Day. Basically, this will show up every single time somebody goes into your server. And also show up, I believe, in the server list. If you can add servers, I can't remember. Tekkit Classic version 3.1.2 is Minecraft. It's very old, so I can't quite remember if you can add servers on a list yet. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, ignore my rambling. And if I'm lying to you, I'm sorry. I don't mean to. Anyway, so basically you can type anything you want in here. You also can Google formatting codes Minecraft to add colors to it if you would like. I'm not going to. I'm going to be very simple and boring. Sorry guys. I'm just going to type LinkedDamin's Tekkit Classic version 3.1.2 server. Now typically I want to make something that big because you got to remember nobody has the same screen resolution or how big of a screen that your computer does. You got to make sure that it's small enough to fit on a lot of screens, which this is really long and probably won't, but you know what? I'm keeping it. View distance. That's basically saying, well, if something goes wrong with people's Minecraft, aka the client, what should I put their render distance to? How many chunks? Default is set to 10 chunks. I'm taking mine down to 8, which is actually normal. 8 chunks is normal. Generate structures. This will basically generate desert temples if they're in this version. I can't remember. This will generate villages. I'm pretty sure. Yes. It will generate villages. It will generate desert temples, desert wells, if that's all included in this Minecraft version. Sorry, I have a little ignorance. I haven't played Tekkit Classic version 3.1.2 in forever, so I apologize. I'm keeping that to true. If you don't, you just type false. True, false. I'm going to keep mine to true. Spawn monsters. If you want zombies, creepers, and skeletons, etc., in your Minecraft server, basically, if you want to play survival, keep that to true. If you don't, put false. I'm going to keep mine to true. Max players. How many players can you go? How many players can go on your server? Now, my general rule is that for every 1G or 100M you have on the launch.bat file, so every 100M, if you don't know what M is, it's megabytes, or every 100M equals one person. So 1G equals 10 people. So I'm going to put mine to 10. That's as much players can go on my server at one time. Now you might ask, why 10? Why? I mean, if you could use the launch file with 3 gigabytes, would you put it at 30? For me, I would probably put either 15 or 20, because it also helps with server lag, because you have a ton of people playing. If they're checking out the world, making the world bigger, and loading new chunks, it's gonna affect the server, and it could load some people's Minecraft. So I'm keeping mine to 10 anyway, even though my max is 10. If I could do 30, I'd probably do 15 or 20. All depends on you. I mean, I could set this to 100. If 100 people go on my server, it's either going to crash or it's not going to run. It's probably going to run, I can't talk for some reason now, 1 frame per second. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, please ignore my rambling. So I'm just going to keep mine to 10, plain and simple. Game mode, basically, it's saying, hey, what do you want people to go in as? Go in as, thinking about my English here, what do I want to say? How do you want people to play, basically, is what they're saying. When they go in, this is how they're going to start. Why can't I talk now? Blah. Basically, it is, not basically, literally, it is set to 0, which means survival. 1 is creative. Pretty sure. If I'm not, I'm very sorry. I'm lying to you again, and I apologize. I'm keeping mine to survival. Survival is really fun for me. Difficulty is basically asking how difficult is your server, and how difficult are the monsters. 1 is easy, 2 is normal, 3 is hard. I'm keeping mine at normal, which is 2. By default, it is 1. I cannot talk. I apologize. You guys are probably like, oh my god. Can you please speak some English? I'm sorry, I apparently cannot. PvP, player versus player. Can players kill/hurt other players? I'm keeping mine to true, because I like to where if somebody has to settle something, they can just fight over it. Plain and simple. If there's like territory that you wanted, they can just fight. Whoever gets killed first loses. Plain and simple. I mean, now people are typically aren't that friendly. People who just kill people for no reason. You probably want to set that to false. All up to you. All up to you. Online mode, you want to keep this to true, always. Unless you somehow lose internet and you want to play on your server, you want to change that to false. And only it would turn it to land, basically. Now, if you set this to false and still have internet, that means anybody with a non-legal version of Minecraft can go on your server. So hackers, or basically anybody who did not pay for Minecraft. I'm biased on that. They should buy Minecraft. It's not even $30. It's $26.95 currently in USD, which is US dollars. So I keep mine to true. You always want to keep it to true because it also helps with hackers. It really helps. So I keep mine to true. Spawn animals. If you want to spawn like cows and sheep and pigs in your world, true. If you don't, false. Whitelist. This is what I was talking about earlier. If you enable this, only people that you put on that text file will only be able to go on the server. I'm keeping it false. I may change that later and put that to true. And, make a community and ask people, hey, why do you want to go on the server, blah, 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 fill out this whitelist application. And I'll think about it and I might add you to the whitelist. It helps with the hackers as well, 'cause not just anybody can go on your server. It's all up to you. Spawn NPCs. Do you want to spawn villagers? Yes or no? True or false? Plain and simple. Max build height. Maximum for the number is 256, which is default. Anybody can build all the way up until 256. Until they're as high as 256 blocks, which is your Y. If you set this to 1, your world will generate higher than 1. It doesn't help with the world, but nobody would be able to build. So I'm keeping mine to 256. You can change it to whatever you like. Don't mind me. Server IP, I will get to that later. Level seed. This basically says if you put something here, all those letters get changed into numbers, and that's how it will generate the world. So basically, you also put numbers in here. If I put 404, it's going to run something that it's going to run the world that is 404. I'm going to keep it blank. Blank means random. And it won't. And once you load the world, once you create the world, it's not going to change. Don't get me wrong on that. Enable on-con. That is basically remote connection. That's what R means remote, con is connection. Remote connection. I'm not sure what can actually R-con on a server right now. Basically, to make it simple, remote connection is basically can you access your server on your phone, like see the launch file. I like to enable mine, even though I not really use it and not sure how, but I like to enable it just in case. Don't worry, not anybody on their phone can see it. You'll be able to set a password later. Level type, basically it's saying what type do you want your world. By default, it is default. Now you have to put everything in capital letters here for level type. By default, it's going to spawn the normal world. If you put flat, excuse me, sorry about that, it's going to generate just completely flat world. This is useful for creative servers. If you put large biomes, it's going to create it. Pressing the wrong button. Whoops. If you put large biomes, it's going to generate a default world, but make the biomes bigger, which I like. So I'm keeping large biomes. Doesn't matter what you like, you can put it. Server port, basically what does the port what port do you want your server to go on? If you don't understand port, basically it's like, hey, how do you want people to connect to your computer? If I was to get into what port actually means, which I could, I've graduated from a class of that, and I'm in the second course of that, so I really could, but I'm not going to get that nerdy. I'm sorry. We may have to change this if you have a problem, but until then, I won't. Allow flight. This basically says if you want people to fly, or do you want to allow people to fly? Now this doesn't mean creative mode. This won't affect creative mode. This will pretty much affect equivalent exchange 2's flying rings, because you can fly with rings on equivalent exchange 2. I'm enabling it because I don't like banning any items. I will probably put a waitlist. Told you I was going to change it. I'm going to actually change that, because if somebody goes on and starts spawning items that are typically not good for server spawns, they're just gonna kind of screw over the server and then crap. But I'm enabling flight. That way people can use equivalent exchange 2's rings. Enable query. Basically this is for websites. They can query your server. Somebody can put your server up on a website, and they'll basically say, hey, is the server running? How many players does it has? Here's IP. Plain and simple. I typically allow that. You may not. It's all up to you. Level name. This is the name of the world, if you couldn't guess that. I don't really care what my name is. I'm just going to put TC World. Plain and simple. TC World. You can just keep it to world. Doesn't matter. You can name it anything you want. You can even have spaces. Doesn't matter. Allow nether. Do you want people to go in the nether? Yes or no? Other than that, we're done. All of these are just saying, hey, this is the Minecraft server properties, and this is the time that it was last saved. Or it was last run. Pardon me. So now, we forgot one. We didn't really forget one. We're finally getting to it 30 minutes into the video, and you're like, oh my god, this guy will not stop talking. I apologize. I like to go very in detail so that people understand. Server IP. Well, I'm gonna have to edit this video because you really don't want to do this online, but I'm going to show you anyway. I'll just have to hide it. First thing you want to do is press the Windows button, R. If you're not on Windows, you basically want to go to run. Now you see I already have it typed in. I'm gonna erase it just because. You want to go to CMD or command prompt. If you put command prompt, it's not going to work. You just want to put CMD, press enter, and it's going to pop up. Now you can see it because I have two monitors here. And it's basically, hey, I'm the command prompt. What do you need? Well, we need our server IP, our public server IP. So I'm going to type ipconfig. Not with that. And now I'm going to have this blurred. I'm going to have something blurred here. Now it's saying IP, blah, 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 blah. We don't need to worry about anything. I'm going to mark something. IPv4 address. Your Internet Protocol version 4 address. You want to have this. I'm going to blur mine out because it is not safe to put it online. I could go into the reasons why. It's very nerdy. I'm not going to. If you understand DDoS, people can DDoS you. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, ignore it. It's just don't put it on a video like me. Except I'm blurring mine, so it's really not on. So, you see IPv4 address ... And then there's a number. It says something something dot something dot something dot something, or really it could say dot dot, or it could say something 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 dot something 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 dot something 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 dot something 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 something. But basically you just want this whole number here. I'm going to mark. You right click and do mark, highlight it, and press Control C to copy it. Or you can just type it in, or you can just move this around so that you can see this and the server properties, and you want to type it in. I am again going to blur that. Oops. Apparently mine did not work. My Control Copy did not work. That's because I'm a moron. You can't copy with Control C. When you do mark, you have to press enter. It's very weird. Now I can paste it, and boom, it's there. You can't see it because I'm not allowing hackers to mess with me. Sorry, I'm just not going to. Sorry, hackers. Next time. Not really. I'm never gonna allow you to. Anyway, you want that. So it's saying, hey, this is the server IP. This is the public IP that you need. Don't use the IPv6 address. You want the IPv4. It matters. So I'm gonna close out the CMD. You don't need to do stop or anything. You just close it out. And I'm going to save the server properties file. Now, I said I was gonna go through all of this, in which I am. So don't worry. The server.txt is basically a log. Now this looks horrible in Notepad. In WordPad, it would look kind of nice. This is basically a log of everything that went on the command prompt, or using the launch file. Missions.yml is a file that you can use to edit permissions. It is very technical. I will not get into it because I may be very geeky, very nerdy, but I actually don't know how to do that. Sadly, I am sorry. There's tons of tutorials out there. It's not that hard. It really isn't. It's just I don't like using it. I like to trust my whole community. So I'm not going to go into much of that. It's just basically you can set permissions for people. OPS. This means operators. It's a .text file. You want to open this with the text editor. Basically, it's the same thing as a whitelist. You put a name in, and if you want to put another name in, you go under the line. But do not add the same people from the whitelist to the OPS or the operators, because basically anyone you put there can use any commands. They can stop the server. They can save all. I mean, they can kick people. They can ban people. So if you have somebody that's bad, they can ban all the operators, which I'm pretty sure works on this version. They can ban anybody and everybody. They can kick anybody and everybody. So it's kind of bad, kind of good. Depends on how you look at it. Sadly, people like to do that. So you basically only want to put yourself and somebody or anybody that you really trust with this. So I'm saving it. I put my name in. Done. Basically, you'll only put your name in. Here's the mod. Here's the equivalent exchange properties. I'm not going to go into the actual configurations of mods because this video is already long enough. I'm looking at my clock here. It's 36:41 now, and that's a long video just to show, hey, this is how you do a server. Really, I could do it in 5 minutes. I just really like to explain things so that people get a better understanding. Here's the launch.sh and the launch. The help.yml, I have a little ignorance there. I'm not exactly sure what that does. In fact, I don't think I know anything about what it does, so I apologize. I'm actually going to open this and see if I can find anything. See if I find a clue. Oh, it's another configuration file. That's what it is. Forge mod loader -0. This is basically a log for all of what Forge mod loader does. Dimensional anchors. I'm pretty sure this is a I thought it was a configuration file. I lied. The dimensional anchors is pretty much a log file to say, okay, this is what's going on with me. Bucket.yml. Go to bucket.org. You can add some plugins, which that's all the way up here. Don't worry, it's not very long, trust me. And basically this is a configuration for Bucket. Ban players and ban IPs. You can put in players' names. So if I was to ban myself, oh boy. If I was to ban myself, I could not go in because I'm on the banned players list. Now, I don't want to save. I don't want to ban myself. Ban IPs is the same thing, except you put in numbers. You put in the public IP address of them, which will show up on the CMD. That number cannot be used for pretty much anything. Well, so it's not. So if you were to share your public IP address, that's okay. If you show the IPv4 address, that's bad. Just a note. Now, world nether, world the end is the folders for the world. That's basically saying, hey, this is what the world is. You'd find this in your roaming.minecraft saves file, So, basically, if you renamed anything other than, if you named this in the server properties, if you named the world name anything else, you have to delete these three because it's not the same name and they're just going to sit there doing nothing. This red power folder is what red power's language is, so it's by default using English. There's a configuration file. Now note, the .props, the .ymls, I cannot open. Basically, all you have to do is open them with text editor and it will be fine. CFG, I can open. You probably, if you can't open .yml and .props, you probably cannot open this one. Open it with text editor, easy enough. So like I said, I'm not going to go in depth with the configuration files because this video is already long enough. It is now 40 minutes. Yay. Plugins. If you go to bucket.org, which I'll actually go to the website now. And you go to get plugins, you can get some plugins for your server. I will not go in depth on that. Sorry about that. Mods. This is basically from minus these 3 folders all the way down is all the mods included in the server. And these 3 files is basically configuration files inside these for CC Sensors, Computer Craft, and Weapons Mod. Balkans Weapons Mod, to be precise. Configurations, full of configuration files plus Railcraft. These are actually supposed to be in there, but the mod when you load the mod, they put it there. Why? I don't know. Buildcraft, same thing. Configuration files, and if anybody on your server uses Buildcraft blueprints, they will show up there. So you might say, I'm done. Finally, I don't have to listen to you anymore. Sorry, you still do. What? I still do? Oh God. Oh God. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love you, but I'm sorry. You don't love me back. I'm sorry. I'm going to actually show you how to make a backup of your server. You do not have to. I remember seeing a question in a comment saying, do you have to make a backup? No, you do not. I'm going to show you anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually going to go into the file here. Or in the folder, the server folder here. I'm going to go to new folder and call this backups. You can name this anything you want. I like to keep it simple and name it backups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new. It's not there. Well, if I could cut, I would cut right now. I had to sneeze. Give me a second. It's not coming. I'm sorry. Oh, anyway, so I'm actually gonna have to do it a different way. I'm surprised you can't do zip file. You may be able to. I can't for some reason. So I'm actually going to right click on the folder, on the server folder with it selected. I'm going to send to a compressed zipped folder. This basically compresses all of the actually let me down here. Give me a second. Bring that up so that you can see it. This compresses all of what's in this folder into one nice compressed zip file. So you can just drag this out and boom, there you go. Now this gave it a name of what the folder was. I'm going to name it 1 because it's our first backup. I'll go into the folder. Sorry, I'm going a little fast. And I'm going to put it in there. Easy enough. It's done. It saves anything that is in that folder. Very simple, very easy. So now am I done? No. Because you're not done either. But I did everything in the folder. Yes, but you still need to do more stuff. You need to open your browser because I'm going to teach you kind of port forwarding. Now this is going to be a very different step for everybody. Everybody has a different router. If you somehow have the same router on me, well, this is going to be quite easy. If you don't, you're going to have to find it yourself. I apologize, but I'll point you in a general area. So, you're going to want to open CMD again with a run program. You can see it's already put in there. Press OK. I'm going to blur. Actually, I don't have to blur yet. I'm going to do ipconfig again. I cannot spell. Boom. I have to blur something again. Now, it's going to say something under IPv4 address. I told you know everything else, so good. If you didn't, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's going to be something under IPv4. I'm rambling a lot. I apologize. It's going to say default gateway. And mine has a big long list of letters and numbers. That's the version 6. You want the version 4, which will look exactly like the IPv4, except it'll be just a little different. So I'm going to mark, highlight, and press enter to copy and close it out. You want that number, I want to paste it in. Again, going to blur everything that's showing up there, which is actually about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, 7 lines. Lovely. Oh well. And you're gonna put that number into your browser, into the web address, and press enter. This is going to take you to the login for your router. Mine's very simple. Bet you can never guess what my password is. I mean, I don't even know what my password is. I'm just guessing. Now I actually know my password is. I'm actually going to change this after the video, which you can't even get into this anyway, but who cares? I'm going to anyway. So if you might want to ask your mother or father, or if you're older and you know this, you will put this in. If you don't know it and you're afraid to ask your mom or dad, then what you want to do is put for username, admin, for password, put lowercase, everything lowercase, password. That generally works, unless your parents or your guardians have changed it. If they changed it, you have to ask them. If they don't allow you, I'm sorry, but you cannot port forward, and therefore this video will not work for you. You'll have to do a Hamachi server. So I put admin and password in. Like I said, there you go. That's my password. Easily enough. Figured you guessed that already. And I'm gonna go log in. Boom. It's gonna log in. I'm not going to say my password. Thank you, Chrome. Anyway, it's saying, hi, this is at a glance. This is your home page. This is everything. Now, this is, like I said, this is going to look a whole lot different from everyone else's router. I have a Comcast Xfinity router. What actual version of Xfinity Comcast router, I do not know. I apologize. I could go and find out. My living room's only about a minute away. Not even. It's about probably not even 10 seconds away. But no need for that much detail. So basically, there's going to be something that's on either the left or the right, or the bottom or the top. Somewhere it's going to say either advanced or port forwarding, which you need. Mine says advanced, so I'm going to click on it. It's going to go to advanced, and it immediately goes to port forwarding. Yours might not. It might be under advanced, go port forwarding, or you might just be able to see a port forwarding button. You want to go there. So, I already have two things in here. I'm blurring these out here. I'm already going to have two things here. I have already port forwarded Minecraft for a different computer of mine, and I already have another game called Unturned port forwarded. I'm going to delete these. I don't play Unturned very much anymore, and I can fix that later. Let it load. Boom. Nothing's port forwarded, which typically you will not have either, unless your parents / guardians or yourself, depending on how old you are, have already done it or done something with port forwarding. If you do, or if you did yourself, good job. If you didn't, that's okay. You're about to. So there's going to be something that says add port forwarding or add service. Mine says add service. I'm going to click it. Easy enough. There's a lot of different things here. Very, very weird things here that you won't understand. Common services. There can be a number of things. You want to choose other, or for some reason it says Minecraft, choose Minecraft. Mine says other for common services, and I'm going to put other because it's not typically common. Other service is going to ask for a name. Minecraft, I'm typing. Server type, TCP and UDP. You want both. If you don't, they cannot get in. It's bad. It's very bad. If you only put TCP, they're not going to be able to get in. If you only put UDP, they're not going to get in. Sadly enough. So, it says server IP address, which I'm again going to blur. It's going to be like a number, dot, a number, dot, a number, dot, probably either blank or a sample number, or a sample letter. That server IP address is the same thing as your IPv4 address. So if you don't know that, go back into the folder. Why not? It all depends on what error you get. And I'll help in the comments. This is like starting port and ending port. This is basically asking, what is the server port? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. You put that number in. By default, it's 25565. That I can share with you, because that's for everybody. And you go to add, and you add it, and boom, it's done. Yay! You can close out of that. Now am I done? Yeah. You can exit this video, but I'm still gonna go on for probably 8 minutes, or probably 18. Actually, well, I already said yes, so crap. If you already left, I'm sorry. You might get an error saying server port is already open, or it's already used. That's when you have to change that server port to like 25566 or 25567, and you have to change it in the port forwarding as well. Okay, now you can leave, even though I said yes before. I'm sorry. Now, basically, what I'm going to do, so I'm going to go in my folder. I'm gonna launch it again. Drag it up there. It's gonna load everything. Blah 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 blah. It's gonna generate the world. It's loading all of what we did. So now we wait. Surprised I can shut up this long. You probably are. I'm sorry. And boom, it is done. It's creating a Railcraft save file. It will always say that. And now you may have saw this move. That's just saying, hey, it's already running. Add some files because it's already running. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna stop. There we go. It's saved. Press any key to continue. Now, I actually forgot something again. I apologize. I am very horrible today. I'm gonna open the server properties. Remember how I said you can enable Archon and it'll ask you for a password, and it didn't show up on here? After you run it with Archon enabled, it will ask you for a password. I'm gonna put sample password because I'm not gonna put the password I actually want in here. I'm gonna save it. Boom. And you can launch again if you want. You don't need to. So now, I'm going to teach you guys how to populate your server and how to test your server to make sure it's working. So I'm going to launch this. So that way I can get into the server. I actually want to move this here. I'm going to go to the Tekkit launcher, because it doesn't matter if this is done or not yet. You can still go into the game. Mine's going to load. I have to bring it up. I actually deleted the Tekkit launcher stuff, so that way I can show you this, because I like to show you guys everything. I'm going to install Tekkit at the default directory, however you want to say that. So now you can't see, and I can't bring it up since on my other monitor it's saying it's downloading, and it's at 20%, and now it's at 25, and now it's at 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 and 70 and 80 and 90, and it is stuck at 99. And now it's done. Yay! Now it's gone and I can't see it because it has to load now. More. Oh, now it's coming up. Still can't bring it up though. It's only the logo. There we go. I can bring it up now. Okay, so basically it asks me to log in. I'm going to log in. It's gonna ask for a username. You actually, depends on what you do with your account. If you have a Mojang account, you put in your email of that account. If you have not migrated your old Minecraft account to a Mojang account, you actually put your username. I migrated mine because I'm an old player, and I'm gonna type LinkedDamin@gmail.com. If you'd like to email me, go ahead. I don't care. I'm gonna put my password in. I'm gonna remember this account because no one else goes on my computer. I'll log in. It's gonna like, oh, okay. Now it's down here again. I gotta bring this up. This is probably gonna look different for you guys. I apologize if it does. I'm just gonna say mod packs. Wow, I'm just mumbling. Basically, you want to go to mod packs. You want to go to Tekkit Classic because that's what we're playing. You want to install it. At least you can actually see the progress now instead of having me tell you and it being very boring. I'm sorry that this video is so long. Hey, it is done. Sweetness. Alright, so now I can finally play. Yay! That took forever. I can't touch it until it loads. I'm sorry, you can't see crap again. Okay, now it's done. There. Okay. Now, to make sure you have a good running server, you want to go to multiplayer, and hey, you can add server. I was not lying to you. Good. You're going to go to your browser. You're going to type go to whatismyip.com. That works too. Go to whatismyip.com. And it's gonna put in big, bold, big letters your IP. This one you can share because this is your public one. I'm gonna copy this. Oops. If come on. There we go. Copy, minimize, add server, name it my server, and paste. Done. And like I said, here it is. It's not big enough. So if I maximize it, still not big enough because I forgot to set my options, which I'm just gonna do very quickly. Where's still not big enough? Well, yeah, it's just not gonna work. I forgot this version just doesn't make it bigger. So yeah, like I said, as you can see, the message of the day is too big, so it's overriding with how many players there is out of 10. So I'm gonna join my server. It's gonna log in. Gotta wait a little bit. Sounds like I'm in water. I'm not, I hurt myself. That's because I was in the jungle. I am in the jungle. Well, as you can tell, it's working. Just type test. Hello? Hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Whee! Basically, my server is now online and running perfectly. I'm gonna exit, disconnect, and exit the whole game. And boom, you're now done. Now, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I hope you guys put up with me. And I hope you guys learned a lot from this. Thank you all for watching. I'm gonna save all on my server. I'm gonna stop my server. And I'm going to wish you guys happy holidays and have a great day/night.